Over the last 30 years, the world has convinced itself that if we do have a World War III, it will be a cyber war. They will come in and blow up our computer systems that run our electricity or the movement of our natural gas. And so that's basically been the emphasis. We were interested in what's behind that door and which side are the hinges on than we were on what is Vladimir Putin doing with an army and what is Xi Jinping doing with his army. And now we have woken up to the fact that military engagement is another part of the war. The use of aircraft and aircraft carriers are going to come into play on it, and now we're beefing it up. So I looked at the Wall Street Journal this weekend, and I was shocked at what I learned about who's getting ready to go to war and how they're doing it. And we need to know that if we're an investor, so we know where to put our money to profit off the coming World War III.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
Am I saying there's going to be a World War III? I don't know. It's really not in my hands. It's in the hands of Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping and probably Washington, D.C. and London and Paris and people of that nature. They're going to have to make this decision. So it's not important what I think. What is important is what do they think and how are they reacting to it. As I said, in the past, it was beef up your cybersecurity, put in some listening devices so that you know what's going to happen, access their email so that you know what's going to happen, and be ready for a cyber attack and deal with Bitcoin as you will, because that's the ransom if it's hackers. So with that in mind, I have to pay attention as an investor as to where is the money going. And what I'm seeing is that there is a military buildup. There is an attempt to rebuild that military machine, to upgrade our Air Force, to upgrade our Navy, to upgrade our missile attack. We are behind, as we have been told, even Iran on ballistic missiles. So I then go and I read the Wall Street Journal this weekend. It was a 3-day weekend, so I had a little time. And on the front page, I see White House to ask Congress to approve F-16s for Turkey. Those are fighter jets. Well, why would Turkey need fighter jets? Again, it's going to be a cyber war. No, it's not. You need to read, and I've done it on Audible, so I just have a picture of the cover. The Gathering Storm by Winston Churchill. And this is Winston's account of what happened in the early 30s, late 20s, as Adolf Hitler made his move into Austria first, and then invaded Poland. And what you'll see is what Hitler did is exactly what Vladimir is doing. Now, in Hitler's case, he marched into Austria and there was no resistance. He thought that's what would happen in Ukraine, but it didn't. This young comedian had a different idea, as did the civilians of Ukraine, and they're putting up a fight. It's now at the first year anniversary. So it's been a hell of a fight, and Vladimir didn't anticipate it. What is Vladimir's choice now? He has no choice. He has to go on. He cannot be put his tail between his legs and run home, because there's no leadership there. He's eliminated all the leadership. So Vladimir has no choice. He has to fight this war. But wait, Carrie, what if he loses? Well, he's got that other option. You know about that other option. It's that little button that he can press and launch nuclear missiles. Would he do that to Ukraine? Probably not, because that's the land he wants. That's the land he wants to take control of, so that he can feed his people, so that he can create a new industry and a new population to keep Russia alive. You heard me right. Russia will die over the next 25 years, whatever happens, because their civilization is decaying. They have an older population. They don't have a younger population. And all of the younger population, 30% of it's trying to get out of Russia. I know that from my dealings with some people in Russia. So he doesn't have a choice. So Turkey recognizes he doesn't have a choice, and that they are number 2 or 3 on the list of invasion. So they want some F-16s, and those F-16s are made by Lockheed Martin. I believe that's Lockheed Martin. And then I read this page, and further back, Biden and Kishida put forces on China. And then it says down here, Japan's prime minister at White House touts a defense plan that includes U.S. weapons. This is Japan asking for military support. They want some F-16s and they want some tanks, and they want military power so that they can defend themselves from their neighbor. Who would that be? Well, that would be China. They've been through this with China once before. They don't want to do it again, and they need help building their military. Then I go to this one. This is all in Friday and Saturday's Wall Street Journal. South Korea considers nuclear weapons. What? Why does South Korea need nuclear weapons? Because North Korea has them. That's why they have nuclear weapons. They're sitting there and saying, we're a fish in a barrel. And they're launching these nuclear missiles up there. They're going out into the sea, but they're measuring the range, and all they got to do is to go from north to south, and they're landing in South Korea. So they're gearing up. So with that, what do they need to do that? They need military might, and so that's where it's coming to fruition. And so that's why I'm investing in military stocks. So then again, in the same 2 papers, now I see Moscow aims to regain offense. They aren't quitting. They aren't quitting. They are committed to this. They have drafted more people, and they're come after. Kremlin maps out new push to stifle dissent. So they're recognizing that they're having people who are saying, no, we're not going to do this. And they say, oh, yes, we are. And then I forgot this one here. Asia, Europe looks to join forces to restrain Beijing. This is about the naval forces of Japan, the U.S., Australia, working together in the China Sea, just in case that Xi Jinping decides he's going to invade Taiwan, or maybe it would be better put, when he's going to invade Taiwan. So there is a military buildup. So as an investor, what do I do? Well, I made this decision about 3 months ago, and I invested in Raytheon. I invested in Northrup Grumman and Lockheed Martin. Now I'm reading elsewhere that we're going to supply some Bradley tanks to Ukraine, as well as England is going to, Great Britain is going to be supplying some tanks as well. Just understand, the mental mindset has changed. This is not any longer a cyber warfare mentality. This is a build up the military mentality. Just go and do a Google search and ask, how much has the United States sent to Ukraine in money and military hardware over the last year? That's, it started in February, so we've been feeding this beast for about a year. And we will continue to feed the beast, because if we don't, the choice is not very good. So my message to you is, do your research on military stocks. Again, I own Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon. They all make different things. You saw some of the things that they make on the thumbnail. But find those stocks, build yourself, go to Seeking Alpha, and read the articles, go into their financials, learn about the financials of these three companies, and then you find your buying position. I believe we are at the start of the earnings season. Goldman Sachs came in with very disappointing earnings. On the other side, J.P. Morgan came in with some stronger earnings. But I think when you see big tech hit, in the first 2 weeks of February, you're going to see a dive. You're going to see a dip, and that might be your time not only to buy big tech, but to buy big military. This isn't going away. Again, read the book, read Winston's book, and he'll tell you. Watch Peter Zion's interview with Joe Rogan. And he'll tell you, this dude knows the names of all of those countries, and he can spill them off in the order they will be invaded if Vladimir succeeds in Ukraine. I don't think he will. So what that means is, how does France, how does Turkey defend themselves from the nuclear invasion? It's in the cards. Just open the deck, and you see if you don't think what I think. The military is going to be built up. We are going to become more isolated as a nation, and it's so evident. Robotics, 3D printing, bringing manufacturing back to the United States. We're going to become an isolated nation. A depend on yourself. When that happens, we'll pull our 16 aircraft carriers out of the oceans, patrolling the seas to make trade available to China and some of the countries over there. And now all hell breaks loose. Okay? And when hell breaks loose, it's the guy with the biggest gun that wins. Talk to you again tomorrow.